Yo, yo, this is the first time ever in the history of me that I've ever went live with 37,000 people. I'm just joking. It's only about seven of us. However, it feels good to be surrounded by folk that I know and also that are curious about what's going on, and what's going on. I know some of us don't have our cameras on. That's cool. Some of us will come on camera later on. That's cool. If I know you, I'm cool with your camera being off. If I don't know you, you probably gonna not be brought up on stage. Right now, we're live on Facebook, on multiple Facebook pages, multiple YouTube pages, and TikTok, and in LinkedIn, and also my Twitter account. So I want to welcome everybody that's watching from wherever you're watching from. And also thank you all for tuning in and being patient with me because boy, oh boy, was I having a problem. I was having a problem with technology today. I was trying to go live on the Zoom link we sent. However, Zoom's not trying to feel me being live with multiple people on Facebook. So we went to StreamYard, and here we are right now on your interwebs, wherever you are. And I want people to know that this is going to be a super cool, formal, informal conversation. Just hearing what people think as it pertains to being Black. And what's going on? Catch my whiff. I catch your whiff. Thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure that you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching always on YouTube. I appreciate that. Like I said, super excited to be here. Super excited to do this and give people space to voice their concerns about candidates, to voice their thoughts and outcome about anything that they see and feel in this moment. So without too much explaining and also without creating too many crazy rules, I'm just gonna shut up and ask people to go ahead and, feel free to voice their concerns or say whatever they want to say. Anybody that was just on stage that put themselves backstage, that means the people can't see you. So all of the people that are backstage, if you're jumping back and forth, you're going to make the screen look a little weird to people that are watching on different platforms. So if you guys want to stay on stage, let me know. If not, I'm going to try to bring you guys back on. And if you don't want to be on, then you can take yourself back and put yourself back behind stage. But I'm going to add you to the stage right now. And if you don't want to stay up here, you don't have to. But people can't see you if you don't add yourself to the stage or if you remove yourself from the stage. So with that being said, anybody that feels like saying something about where we are right now, feel free to voice yourself. Questions, concerns, thoughts, frustrations, this is the moment. You have to unmute yourself first to say something. Camellia, your name is up here twice. Choose one and then get rid of the other one, please. But if you guys, if while y'all are trying to get your nerves up, if you're going to say something, I'm just going to go ahead and say what I'm going to say. I got more news. What's up? Just be cool and peace and blessings to you too. I got more news in between my 3:30 live and this live that was even more disturbing. I don't know if everybody is aware of this, but Weldon is actually the school board in Weldon, because I don't know if y'all know this, in Halifax County, we have three school boards in the county. Weldon School Board is having they had a vacancy because I think of a death last year. And during that time, they did not appoint anybody to fill that vacancy. This is the tricks I'm telling you that happens when people aren't paying attention to politics. Listen to what I'm about to tell y'all, because this happened in our county this cycle. They did not appoint anybody. We are in the midst of the election right now. Candidates have put their name on the ballot and people are voting. The election has already started. It is election season. And you know what Weldon did? Weldon actually appointed one of the candidates to that vacant seat. Why do you think that's frustrating and problematic? I'll tell you why it's problematic. It's problematic because it gives that person the upper hand. That person now looks like they are an elected official. That person is now serving in an elected role, even though they weren't elected. And that spot that was vacant is no longer vacant. That person is filling that spot, acting as if they have been elected by the people. That's disgusting behavior. That is manipulating, and I feel like there should be legal recourse for those type of actions. But this is what people are doing to us. Not that it's not enough that we have three different school districts, but now we have people playing in our face like this. This is the nastiness in which we find ourselves in this climate where people are not speaking up or talking about what's going on in their election cycle. So, all you people on stage with me, all you people came to this live. I hope y'all got something to say. If not, y'all could have just watched me from Facebook or YouTube. I want to hear other people talk. I don't just want to hear me talk. So if you got something to say and you up here, please say it. If you don't have anything to say, I'm actually gonna put the link for this StreamYard in the chat. So if you want to join, you can join as well. Um, so yeah, I feel like I always talking about my problems and how I feel about this, but I want to hear from other people this evening. I started this as the people led town hall. So we got the people who can put comments. We got the people who let me just post this right here. Right now, this is a comment from Kimberly Robinson, who actually lives in Weldon. So when I speak about what's happening in Weldon, you just know that I'm not lying. There's someone that is saying that it's factual. So make sure that people are paying attention to what's happening and what's not being said and how unserious we are. I appreciate you tuning in from Massachusetts. Um, I appreciate you supporting all the way from Massachusetts. It matters. I thank you so much for your support. Yeah, let's go, people. We have a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff happening in our election. So let me hear from other people, not just in North Carolina. If there's concerns about elections in your state and you want people to know about them, this is the platform to share those. Share, everybody, please share share all your comments in this moment. I'm cool with that. Anybody, I'm here to uplift people. If y'all want to hear me talk, I definitely will speak. But like I said, I came up here because I want people. I want people to speak. Margaret, it has been way too long, and thank you for the love from Canada. I also want to let you know that all of America does not feel like our dumbass president, and I appreciate the way that Canada is standing up to America, even though Americans are acting punk in this moment and will not stand up to Donald Trump. I appreciate how y'all are leading the charge and making European nations stand up as well. So thank y'all for having strength on behalf of North America and also standing up to Donald Trump. And remember, all of America does not feel like, and I mean, when I say America, I mean the United States of America, because I know you are a part of America as well. All of us do not feel like our dumbass president or the people who support him. So thank you so much for always being a supporter. Thank you so much. We love our neighbors in Canada. And yeah, so thank you so much. What's going on, Randy? What's up? Long time no see, bro. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting. We just out here talking trash about elected officials who refuse to stand up and say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done for the people who are suffering the most as they continue to look out for billionaires. I don't know if people watch the State of the Union, but I also think people should make sure that they understand that what happened when we saw the Democrats stand up and when Donald Trump said not a single Democrat voted for the very important tax breaks, when you saw all the Democrats stand up and clap, that was because they were telling you that those tax breaks were not for the people. Donald Trump was bragging about tax breaks that were for billionaires. Tax breaks that were for billionaires, not for regular people. So the reason Democrats stood up, and clapped, it was because they were saying, you damn right we voted against tax breaks for billionaires while poor people suffer. So I'm super excited to be a part of a Democratic Party that stand up and say, go ahead with that. Go ahead with that. Hold on one second. Somebody's knocking on my door. Yeah. I see someone said they're concerned from their state. Let me show that statement. My concern with my state is the low turnout in non-presidential elections. Catch my whiff. Unfortunately, in this country, that's not just the problem for your state. That's a problem for everybody. Every state in this country, and even during presidential elections, we have a problem. We have a problem with low turnout. We have a problem with low turnout. And the reason is it's because we have candidates. We have candidates who don't excite the base. That's one reason. The second reason is the way we carry elections, we make it complicated for people to participate. If we wanted more people to participate in an election, we would do what is done in some of the states on the West Coast that have the highest voter turnout. That includes the work of what's going on. How you doing, bro? All right, good to see you, Caleb. So what I mean by that is we have states that when you turn 18, you're automatically registered to vote. You're automatically registered to vote. Automatically, you don't have to do anything except for be registered to vote. Yeah, I think. Listen, 70% voter turnout is nothing. It's nothing to frown upon. That is massive, and that is usually a higher voter turnout than in most states in this country. That is a higher voter turnout than most states in this country. However, we should not be applauding 70% when we could easily make it 100% if we just mailed everybody in this country that is a citizen that is over the age of 18, just mailed them a ballot and told them they could turn it in anywhere and as a government office. It is that simple, but we don't do that because this country prides itself on low voter turnout because that means there are less people to be responsive to by those who are elected. People don't want people to turn out because the more people that participate, the more likely that incumbents will lose an election. They are afraid of more people participating in our elections because it creates more problems for them. That's why you have low voter turnout in non-presidential elections. It is also a point that we should make that we have prioritized prior to presidential elections, acting like they are the sexiest election or the only election that matter. We don't talk about midterm elections or local elections or statewide elections in the same vigor or with the same vigor that we do with statewide elections. We don't. And we need to get to a point in this country where we're talking about those elections just like we do all the other elections. So Camelia, I put you in the backstage. I'll bring anybody out from the backstage that don't want that want to talk. But it was kind of weird me keep looking at you instead of looking at the screen. So you backstage. Again, anybody that don't understand that it is impossible. It is almost impossible for people to try to get to a polling location on a Tuesday. Why do anybody remember why America votes on a Tuesday? Why don't we vote on a Saturday when more people are not? Why is election day a Tuesday still? We that became a thing when we were in an agrarian society. When we were an agrarian society, that became a thing. People voted. People voted on Tuesday. I'm gonna tell you why I catch my whiff. People voted on Tuesday because people were farmers, and you only could vote at the county seat. So everybody traveling by horse. This is way back when you could vote, when voting was by horse. People traveling needed a day to travel, and they couldn't travel on Sunday because they were at church. So Monday was the travel day, and Tuesday was the day you could go vote by horse and go back home. Why in the hell, knowing this, why in the hell are we still voting on Tuesday? Why are we voting on Tuesday? Why aren't we making it easier for people to participate? If we have early voting, if we have technology, we have facial recognition, there are ways that we can make more people vote or make the vote more accessible to people with all of our technology, but we don't. When I come through customs back into this country, I don't even have to show my passport. I can just use my face because I'm global entry. If that technology is secure enough to let someone into this country, it should be secure enough for me to cast a ballot. We make it impossible for certain people to vote, and that is not a mistake or a flaw in our system. It is by design. The more complications they have, the less likely lower income and people who work for a living are to participate. This is not it's not a character flaw. It is not like people with more money are more patriotic or they care more about voting. No, they just have easier access. They have easier access. People that work during the day, people that are hourly workers, are less likely to have money saved, enough money that they can take off a day to go vote. So even though you have a few days of early voting, it does not matter because those early voting hours are still those people's working hours. And asking people to miss an entire day to go vote is like asking them to give up a fifth of that week's salary to go vote. That means it costs them to vote. That is impossible for certain people. That ain't even considering the ones that don't have cars and driver's license. That is not even considering those facts. That's not even considering those facts. So when we talk about low turnout, we should also make sure that we understand that one, we have candidates that are the first question they're asking people, the first interaction with people is them asking for people to vote for them. They've not introduced themselves when it wasn't a political cycle, an election cycle. They didn't come to these people last year and ask these people what was going on and what problems did they have in their life. They didn't ask those people those questions. So it seems very transactional. It seems very transactional and not transformative. That's why we have low voter turnout in this country. And I agree, Election Day should be a federal holiday. Nothing in this country that is not essential should not be opened. People should have an entire day to go vote. That's why some of our countries, smaller countries in the Caribbean and our neighbors to the south have way higher voter turnout than we do because they make it a holiday to go vote. Places in the Caribbean, places in Central South America. Absolutely. 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 And we don't demand these things, so we don't get these things. What's up, bro? You good? I'm good. So yeah. So when we're asking these questions about what's what, this is what's what. None of this is by mistake. It is grand design that is complicated. We spend billions and billions. Think about it. Billions on elections. And you can only get 60, 40%, 20% people voting in their mayoral elections, 10%, 17%. Think about that. New York just had one of the most expensive mayoral elections. And only 20% of the population that could vote voted. One of the largest cities in the world. One of the biggest economies in the world, not just cities, one of the biggest economies in the world, and only 20% of people. That is a flaw in the system. That is a flaw in the system. And then you got to add the other things on top of that. The trauma associated with voting with certain demographics. The tricks that police officers and people in power play. Let me give you an example. It is illegal in this country for police officers to target polling locations on election day. But police officers still in this country set up roadblocks within a mile or two from certain states, from black locations. Why? Why they do that? They do that because it's advantageous for them. If they want black people to be afraid to go vote, set up a roadblock around them. Whether people got problems with police officers or not, black people don't want to have to deal with cops at all. My insurance is good. My license are good. I still get nervous when a cop's behind me. It is a continuation of the poll tax. It is a continuation of the threat from the Klan and the White Citizen Council of death to black people when you think about voting and have to think about a roadblock on the way to go vote. Now add that with the fact that you just gave up one of your working days. Add that with the fact that you're supposed to be working because you got to buy Pampers. Add that with the fact that you have to buy food. And these same people who are making it impossible for you to vote, these same people that are taxing you to vote, are calling you lazy because you need subsidies from the federal government. You need stamps from the federal government. But what these people won't tell you is the largest the largest employer in this country outside of the federal government is Walmart. Guess what Walmart also is? It is the largest contributor to those who are working and also need government assistance. How is it that everybody that is a owner, everybody who has a name that is Walton, that is a grandchild or a great grandchild of Sam Walton who started Walmart, how are they on the billionaire list as some of the richest people in the world, but their workers are being subsidized by American taxpayers? How is it that we are comfortable in this country, celebrating the Waltons by Forbes putting them on the richest people list, knowing that if they paid their people livable wages, some of those income, some of that money from those people wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be realized. The Walton family, look at them collectively and see where they fall on that billionaire list. And then think about how many people that work for Walmart also still needs food stamps because Walmart will cut your hours right at 36 or 35 or 30 so you're not full-time, so they don't have to give you health insurance. But then the government's going to tell you, oh, you make too much money to qualify for stamps. And now they're adding even more strict, even stricter, more strict. See, I speak African-American vernacular, so that this English get tricky with me sometimes. Either way, I'm going to put them together. More stricter. How about that? Now they're adding more work requirements to qualify. To qualify. That's a testament. Catch my whiff. That is a testament. That is a testament. So we sit out here and we play these games like it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. People are literally dying. We're supposedly the richest nation in the world, but the wealth gap in America is bigger or closer to Brazil, which is a developing nation, than anywhere in the developed world. That means the people who are the richest with the most resources compared to the people who are the poorest is bigger than it is in what they call third world countries. They don't use that terminology no more because they said it's politically incorrect. I don't care if you say third world. I don't care if you say developing or underdeveloped nation. Just know that it is disgusting. It is disgusting that we have so many rich people in this country and also so many poor people, so many homeless people. There are corporations that own enough houses in certain cities that they can block out all of the homeless people in that community by housing them. Mind you, that nobody are in these corporate owned houses because they're using them for Airbnb, buying up entire buildings for money. So when I see people up here bragging about money, about things, and people are hungry, and these same people aren't doing anything, I ain't talking about giving people a turkey. I'm talking about trying to address the problems in a way that these people can buy their own fucking turkeys. I don't want to hear about your brag. I don't care about your vacation. What are you doing for your neighbor? What are you doing that look like the ministry of Jesus? I ain't talking about this bullshit ass American version of Jesus. I'm talking about the radical motherfucker who went to the church twice in his entire life and showed out both times he was in church. Jesus went to church twice. The first time he told people, grown people, you should have known I'd be about my parents' business or my father's business. And the second time he was there, he flipped over the tables, the money tables. He flipped them over. Jesus in there creating ruckus because they was ripping off poor people, the money changers. The same people that had him killed. Jesus exposing the frauds, the church. I told y'all earlier, the church now are the rich people. People's God, people's Jesus now is money. People's Jesus now is fame. People's Jesus now is notoriety. People Jesus now is influence. And just like the false prophets of Jesus' time, the false prophet of our times are empty when it comes to doing shit to move the needle on people's lived experience. They put on makeup to cover their bullshit. I said what I said. Clicks for cash. Clicks for cash. So when people ask me, why you always on Facebook? My people are on Facebook. Why you on YouTube? My people are on YouTube. My people ain't on CNN. And if they are watching CNN, I need to clean up the lies they just heard after they finish watching it. If they are watching MSN Now, I need to clean up the lies they just heard after watching MSN Now. If they are watching Fox, my God, then they probably ain't my people. They probably ain't my people. If they watching Newsmax, you better watch the people who ignore you, laugh at you, then fight you. Because those people understand that you're trying to disrupt their status quo. Their status quo. Their status quo is healthy for their lived experience. Their status quo is healthy for their lives, what they need, what their mission is. I don't got no problems with Don Lemon, and I think he should have a First Amendment right to do exactly what he was doing in that church when he was covering his protest. Absolutely. But I also refuse to let people take the energy of people who are on the front lines often and always and give it to Don Lemon, who is a millionaire after he got his settlement from leaving CNN. Don Lemon is going to have the wealthiest attorney defend him. I don't have time to take movement work away from poor people who are suffering, black people who have always suffered, brown people who have always suffered, women who barely just got the right to vote, LGBTQI people who are demonized by their own people. I'd be damned if I got time to advocate for Don Lemon and any other millionaire. And I'll say what I said earlier. Any billionaire is a policy failure. Show me a billionaire, I'll show you a thief. Show me a billionaire, I'll show you a thief. Policies, problems, and I'll show you corruption. Period. Look what Amazon did to the mom and pop stores. Amazon created supposedly a library online where you could buy books because we didn't need bricks and mortars anymore. And now Amazon own brick and mortar stores. After they got rid of all of the little stores, the mom and pops, your locally owned stores were put out of business by Amazon. Because Jeff Bezos felt that you didn't need brick and mortar. You needed to be online shopping for books with him. And now he sells you everything everywhere. He can get married in Venice and rent the entire city with your money. With your money. With your money. He can sell you cheap, disgusting, what y'all thought was good organic food at Whole Foods. Y'all thought it was this is an upscale grocery store. It's him doing what the hell he does. Exploiting people. Exploiting people. We got CEOs making more in a month, in a year, than their employees would make if they worked there their entire working life. And ain't nobody screaming about it. We are beyond the point of the French Revolution. When you heard rich people saying, let them eat cake. When people didn't even have bread. When the world told the queen that people were starving. She said, let them eat cake. She was so oblivious to what people were suffering through. Her response was, let them eat cake. You don't believe that's where we are right now? You don't believe that's where we are right now? Donald Trump just took your insurance or made it more expensive. I know for a fact my mom and dad are both on restricted incomes. Both of them. And they both in the last 3 months are now paying for medicine that was free. Don't tell me this ain't real. Don't tell me this ain't real. Don't tell me this ain't real. Don't tell me people won't die from this when you heard healthcare providers say Donald Trump cuts to people's government health will close rural hospitals. We already don't have a hospital in my town. If you call an ambulance, between the wait for them to get there and you to get to the closest hospital is an hour. And we're about to lose more hospitals because of what he's doing. And you're telling me that your vote don't matter? You're telling me your vote does not matter? You're telling me it's not necessary to worry about the vote? Can you tell me do you not understand what you are doing to the community? When you say, I don't need the vote, it does not matter. If it didn't matter, why are they fighting so hard? Why are they creating so many hurdles for you? If your vote didn't matter, why did they just redraw our district, the first congressional district in North Carolina, the Republicans, to make it more friendly for Republicans by taking out over 20% of the black people in this district, taking it from one of the blackest districts in the state and in this country to now that black people are less than 37% of the population of this district. We went from a black majority district to now to 37%, 38%, and white people at 61%. And then after spitting in our face like that, the Republican Party, the candidate that was in Donald Trump's, I refuse to say her name, the candidate that was in Donald Trump's Department of Defense had the audacity to have her official call the town of Enfield and tell the town employees to let the elected officials know in this majority black town, in this majority black county, in what used to be a majority black district until Republicans changed that she was going to be at the polling location on Monday. I don't give a damn where you going to be. I don't give a damn where you going to be. That is disgusting, arrogant behavior. You strip my vote. That's like stealing my red Corvette. If I had a red Corvette. It's like stealing my red Corvette with a tag that says Mondale. And you're my neighbor, parking it in your car and in your driveway and knowing you stole it from me. And I see it every day. And you wake up in the morning while you brush it off and say, hey, good morning. That is the equivalent of what they're doing. They're spitting in your face. They stole your vote. They're trying to weaken you. And you are out here saying, my vote does not matter. When I hear that, I just know that Republicans and their misinformation online has successfully convinced our people that we do not know what the vote is. We do not know the importance of the vote. That to me is heartbreaking. That to me is heartbreaking. I know for a fact, you'll hear the world tell you that America is about to celebrate 250 years as a democratic republic. I would tell you that America's democracy is not 250 years old. America's democracy is younger than my mother. Because it wasn't until the 19th Amendment that women got the right to vote. And even though women had the right to vote in the 19th Amendment, still at that point, 13% of black people, black women and black men, were only registered to vote in the South. So it wasn't until after the 65 Voting Rights Act, that America's democracy was born. It was that moment that people could participate in the elections. We don't have a democracy that's about to celebrate 250. We have a democracy that's 70, 60 some years old at best. At best. At best. So I see people, when I hear people, when I hear people, when I hear people that look like me, that care about people that look like me, when I hear people that are poor white people, when I hear people that are less able, when I hear people that are members of the LGBTQI community say Donald Trump don't matter, none of this is gonna change. It breaks my damn heart because we're all suffering from rich white men. Because to be clear, rich white men don't care about poor white people either. If they did, they wouldn't be taking their insurance either. Republican states aren't doing better than Democratic states. Everybody in America is suffering. Donald Trump tariffs didn't just hit Democratic-led states. That's the idiotic nature of those people who are blindly supporting Donald Trump. First, they told y'all they need y'all to be anti-woke. The opposite of woke is sleep. So they told y'all they need y'all to be sleep. And then they told you why they need you to be sleep. Because we're gonna take your money. We're gonna take your health care. We're gonna take your grandparents' Social Security. Donald Trump is the most idiotic president this country has ever seen. Yet and still, people treat him like he's God. People treat him like he's God. Those people that support Donald Trump like he is God is the one. Is the one. Is the one. I don't know why clickbait just sent y'all. I'm sorry, I don't know why StreamYard just sent y'all a discount coupon. I'm not advertising for StreamYard. I don't give a damn about StreamYard. I'm using their services. I pay for their services, and they don't get to advertise for free on my thing. So if you see that what just popped up on YouTube, what just popped up on Facebook, you don't have to sign up. I don't care about these companies. I don't give a damn about any of these companies, even the one I'm on right now, because I'm on their service at a cost. So I don't know why they think they can advertise for free. At any rate, we the people-loving people of all color, people-loving people of all colors, we need to do a better job of standing up against those who were so discord simply because it benefits them. Donald Trump family has made billions. Billions. I don't know if people know it or not. In order to spend $1 billion, you would have to spend $1 million for 1,000 years. $1 million. Let's put this question up. Legit question. What are the legalities of a town like yours, talking about infill, starting a GoFundMe for something your town needs? We absolutely can take donations, and I think that's a wonderful way. I've already given up on our state and county government supporting our town, catch my whiff. And so we've already started. I created a $15 million budget that we're trying to fundraise for right now outside of the town mechanisms, like the regular way, because they're not coming for us. If people are waiting for the government to save us, we see right now it's not happening. Biden had this Build Back Better plan with all of this money that was supposed to be, and it took them too long to get that money out. And as soon as Donald Trump got in office, they cut all of that money off. We can't, there's no small towns ever gonna be able to address what's ailing them, fix them, waiting on government entities to address them. The bureaucracies are too slow, and then administrations follow administrations, and they have different point of views. And now you got people afraid to say that we need solar energy. You got a government right now that said they were no longer monitor greenhouse gases from companies. So we've already started thinking of trying to build a plan to figure out how will we raise funds from private entities and also foundations. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate those questions. I definitely plan on putting that information out. We are in the process right now of having our retreat. The group is called Infield Energies Futures. We're going to have our retreat on March 17th. And after that, it's going to be a public thing. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that forethought, and just know that it's coming. It's absolutely coming. Yeah, I think though, we got to, and unfortunately, we live in the richest country in the world, apparently. But government entities like towns like Infield, we have to start getting creative at how we fund our services so that our people don't go without when the federal government don't show up. People's need don't end when federal programs do. And we need to know that. We have to be prepared for that. So I'm trying to be, even when I'm not mayor, I need the town of Infield to be set up so that it can function better than it did when I became mayor. Grab my coffee. Coffee break, y'all. Give me a second. I ain't advertising for nobody. I did not drink with two hands to mock Donald Trump and the way he drank. I did because I didn't want to show that company's logo. Yeah, so like I said, we got to do better. We need to demand more. Again, I said this at 3:30. I'm saying it again. If you have people in your circle that tell you they're not voting, they don't care about voting, you know what you should do? You should kick those people out your circle. That's like walking around with someone. Well, I'm not going to say that. However, people that have the right to vote and don't exercise that right to vote, you don't got no reason to be around me. That's corny behavior. You don't care about people that I care about. You don't care about people in general. You don't care about people in general. I care about people in general, especially the marginalized people, especially people who have been wronged by this nation and never made whole. I'm telling you, we need to get back to this point where poverty was not looked down upon. We need to get back to the point where we don't look down on poor people. We look at the systems that created it, because poverty is not something that people strive for. Poverty is something that policies create. Yeah, created. Policies are, you tell me an issue about policy and I'll show you. You tell me an issue about poverty and I'll tell you and link it back to capitalism. Because it's real. You don't get poor. Policies allow it. We stop taxing people. People forget that above like $3 or $4 or $5 million in the 70s, everything you made above that was taxed at like 70, 80%. Did you hear what I said? Imagine how much more tax dollars could come in this country if billionaires were taxed at every penny over $5 or $10 million. Every penny over that, if they were taxed at 70 or 80%. Imagine how much more money we would make. And that is not a strange thing. That was the American way. People forget that. We pay the income tax in this country like the income tax was designed for working people. That tax, have you never played Monopoly, guys? The taxes are more when you have more. You have more hotels. That's why you hate to see that card to say pay tax on each of your hotels or all of your properties. That's what it was for. Income tax was not meant for poor people. It was for the richest of us. Let me ask Siri. Hey, Siri. She ain't responding. She must be mad. I'll Google it for y'all. Yeah, man, tax. We don't even, we let people fool us and believe that, oh, these people were getting it by the bootstrap. No, people were paying their fair share. And poverty was, people didn't look down on people during the Great Depression. Poor people. We had government subsidies for people because we knew policies created that. Policies that let bankers play risky with people's money. And people lost all their money because of risky bets by bankers. Policies. Donald Trump just let out a fraudster and told him that he didn't have to, he pardoned him and said you don't have to pay the $1 billion that you stole from poor and working people back. That person got a get out of jail free card and got to keep the money. That happened. Donald Trump pardoned Jared Kushner's dad, who was also another fraudster. And then he just pardoned him, he made him an ambassador. Donald Trump pardoned the guy who gave his family the crypto information, who made him a billion plus, a billionaire plus since he'd been back in office. He just pardoned him. Even though this person scammed billions and billions of dollars from people. Donald Trump just let go the old president of Honduras, who was locked up, convicted by a jury of Americans who for selling hundreds and hundreds tons of cocaine. Don't be fooled by the narrative that what's happening to our immigrant brothers and sisters has anything to do with drugs. They don't give a damn about that. It's about oil in Venezuela. It's about lessening the vote of anybody that does not support the white agenda, the Republican agenda, the racist agenda, the sexist agenda, misogynistic agenda, the homophobic agenda, the transphobic agenda, all of that. That's why they need you anti-woke. That's why they're banning books. They're not banning books so black people don't know black history. They're banning books so nobody else don't realize all the work that black people did to get free that benefit everybody. So other people don't know that history. So that history can repeat itself. That's what they're doing. You don't need to tell me my history. I am my history. You don't look this damn good not understanding what blackness is. You don't glow with this much arrogance. It's what people call me, arrogant, because I know what the hell I'm talking about. You don't glow from knowing what the hell you're talking about without knowing the hell who you are. You know who you are by knowing who you are. Oral histories. We don't need books. I know the stories of my ancestors. I know my Uncle Jerry is Uncle Jerry because my great-great-grandfather was a Jerry and also enslaved. So when I see the problems of my uncle, I see the traumas of his great-granddad. Even if he never met him, even if I never met him, because epigenetics, trauma associated with DNA, the RNA, the envelope that keeps the DNA inside of us can be passed on whether you see someone or know them or even have ever met them. And that's some shit you can't unteach me. So when they tell you don't vote, they're counting on you participating in the trauma associated with voting and being a minority in this nation. They know that it triggers cortisol level in you. They know that it's a nasty reaction associated with being black and politically active. They know that you remember that they shot the most peaceful Martin Luther King and the most radical Malcolm X. So it don't matter what kind of blackness you are, you still can die by the state if they deem you a threat. They're hiding books so our allies won't be better too. They're banning books. They're banning books because they need you, my brothers and sisters that are white. They need you not to know what really is real in this country. They need you not to know. They need you not to know. They need you not to know. I'm sorry, I lied to y'all. I was loud and wrong, and I don't like being loud and wrong. I don't like being loud and wrong. I should not be loud and wrong if I'm gonna be this loud. I said the highest tax rate was 70%. I was wrong. It was 91%. Anything over $200,000 was taxed at 91%, bro. Think about that. That's how you address. That's how you address poverty. That's how you address homelessness. That's how you address these billionaires from being billionaires. Anything over $200,000, 200,000 in the 50s is like 2 million now. So like I said, anything over $2 million should be taxed at 91%. And we can address all of our problems. We can have universal health care. We can have housing for everybody. We can have food for everybody. Think about what it means if everything Elon Musk had was taxed over $2 million at 91%. That happened in real life. Those aren't my policies. Those weren't my policies. I wasn't born in the 50s. That's a real thing. Actually, it went up higher than 91. It was 92% at one time. 92%. And you don't understand why our government has deficits? Because we took that much resources. We took that many resources away from the government. And we allow rich people. We allow rich people to make poor people the enemy of poorer people. You got people making $7 million a year, then convinced people that make $700 a week that their enemies are people that make $7 an hour. I came up with that last night. I'm still trying to rehearse it, but y'all see what I'm going with it. Think about it. Rich people telling you to hate poor people because they your problem. How the hell is somebody poorer than me my problem? They ain't taking no resources from me. They climbing the same ladder behind me. It's the person who got their butt on your face at the top of the ladder that keeps kicking you, preventing you from getting to where they are. That's the problem. That's the problem. So when I tell you policy created poverty, I just gave you the reason. What can we do with 91% of Bezos' wealth? What could we do with 91% of Elon Musk's wealth as a nation addressing the poverty? The Walton family, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Rihanna, anybody that got over $2 million should be taxed at 91%. Though that's the real. That's how it used to be, and that's how it should be, because that's how you pay for services necessary to ensure that schools are paid for. People don't even understand that wealth, if you account for what money means now versus what it meant in the 50s and 60s, people's income have not really changed. But college is 1,000 times more expensive. 1,000 times more expensive. People were building houses when they created the middle class. I hope y'all know how they created the middle class. That was the GI Bill. When they were building houses, people were buying houses for 30, 20, 30,000. Houses are 300,000, 400,000. Those are median houses in this country. Median house cost. Now, what are we doing? We are a nation of greed. And people have the audacity to call themselves a Christian nation. You ain't Christ-like. You might be church-like, but you ain't Christ-like. Ain't nothing about capitalism Christ-like. Donald Trump's administration came in, warned on racist and xenophobia. That's the exact opposite of what Jesus said. Jesus said, what you did for the least of them, that's what you did for me. When the people said, Jesus, when did I not feed you? When were you hungry and I didn't hear you? When were you dirty and I didn't let you sit beside me? And Jesus said, what you did for the least of them, you did for me. That means Jesus said two things in one statement. Jesus said, what you do for the least of these, you do for me. Jesus said, I am the least of these. So when people talk about the gospel, if you ain't talking about the gospel as BALM, B-A-L-M, for the oppressed, if you're not talking about how theology is to address the problem of the least of these, then you ain't talking about Christianity. You're talking about something the oppressor created to keep people stuck, saying hallelujah. Christianity ain't no passive situation. Ain't no passive situation. To be Christ-like. To be Christ-like. Christ was God's son, which means he was the most affluent person ever. And he died beside two thieves. People mocked him, poke holes in him. That means he's on par with the least amongst these. This is why James Baldwin said, you cannot think about Jesus or get to Jesus and the cross without the lynching tree. You can't get to Jesus without the lynching tree. You can't understand him. Giving away your vote is giving away your franchise. I'm lost when I see people that look like me that don't understand what their vote means. I'm lost when I see poor white people falling for a trick that poor white people and poor black people knew better than when the Bacon Rebellion happened. And if you don't know about Bacon Rebellion, I challenge you right now to go read. Soon as you finish this live, to go read and understand how important that damn work was. What poor black people and poor white people did. That work was so successful, even though people were killed, they created the term black and white. Before Bacon Rebellion, nobody was referred to as black or white. We've not always called people black and white in this world. No one was referred to as black or white before the Bacon Rebellion. But rich white people knew that they could never have poor white people side with black people again, because those type of revolutions cause change to the status quo. It caused rich people to lose shit. We don't have to get bloody in a rebellion or a revolution. We can do an electoral revolution and shed no blood and shed a bunch of motherfucking incumbents who should not be in office. We can get rid of a bunch of motherfuckers who fall short. We can make that a 2026 rebellion. Bacon Rebellion can come back around without blood, without violence, but with a lot of poor white people and black people going to the polls, understanding that there is no benefit in the Republican Party for us right now. I need to make a t-shirt. We need to redo Bacon's Rebellion. Poor white people teaming up with black and brown people and people of color, standing up to the status quo, taking back what's ours. We need 91%. Because why not? Because why not? Because why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Hmm? Hmm? I'm doing some math right now, y'all. Y'all bear with me. I ain't done. Guess what? If we tax Bezos at 91% of 55 billion, which I think he's at 100 plus billion now, at 55 billion, he still is worth $4.9 billion. Did you hear what I just said? We can tax this man at 91% and he would still be a freaking billionaire. And people are hungry. And people are hungry. And he didn't create anything. He didn't create anything. Bezos didn't create, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, Bezos too. I was thinking Elon Musk. Musk ain't create anything. Nothing. Take 55 million and see what 9% of it is. I think he's worth 100 plus million. Hey Siri, My series, Ignore Me Tonight. Elon Musk net worth today, $852 billion is what he's worth today. So $852 billion, 852 billion, 9% of that is still $76 billion. So if we took 91% of his money, he would still be worth $76 billion today. And he ain't create nothing. He didn't create Tesla. He didn't create PayPal. None of it. He didn't even bring the money over here that made him rich, even when he overstayed his visa. Him and his brother came over here with emeralds and other jewels in their pockets from their father's mine in South Africa. Afrikaners extracting resources with black labor from land that should be owned by black people, exploitive, came over here and just capitalized off exploitation to the umpteenth degree. I'm glad you looked into George Steiny. See, this is one of my catch my whiff. I appreciate Catch My Whiff. Catch My Whiff is not just a passive listener. This person actually listens to me and then go do the research. And unfortunately, I'm not smiling because I'm happy about George Steiny, because like I told you before, you researched it, make sure you did it during the day, because it's a dark story. But it is, I'm excited that I get to talk to my people like you, and you go do that research and you learn something. So when people say crazy shit, you keep it like, that ain't true. This happened in South Carolina. So if y'all don't know who George Steiny is, please take the time to go look that up. And trust me, you should look it up in the daytime. You don't want to be thinking about that when you got to go to bed. I'm Mondale Robinson, y'all. I've given you an hour of passion about why people who love people should be voting against Republicans and conservative Democrats up and down the ballot this year. This is our Bacon's vote. This is the new Bacon Rebellion, where poor white people team up with poor marginalized people and LGBTQI people to stand up to the status quo. This is the bloodless Bacon Rebellion. Let's end the status quo. Let's end the status quo. Again, I'm Mondale Robinson. Please share this. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe. Y'all take it easy. Peace.